A year ago I published my first video about Triumph Tiger 850. Since then I've been riding this bike across various roads and in various weather conditions, and in this video I want to share my experience of owning a Triumph from the perspective of someone who has never owned one before. I should say that Triumph is a well-known premium manufacturer, although it's not sold in quantities comparable with Honda, BMW or Yamaha. This comes with certain disadvantages in my opinion, so let's see what I can tell you after 6,000 miles or 10,000 kilometers on Triumph Tiger 850. First of all, I should mention that the experience of owning and riding 850 was great. This motorcycle truly offers the best value if you want to own a bike from a prestigious brand. While there are motorcycles from brands such as Suzuki or Kawasaki, none of them provide the Triumph vibe. Even though Tiger 850 is the most affordable version of 900 lineup, Triumph did not skimp on many features. Some elements are simpler, but all the core parts are well made. I also think that the latest color schemes makes the bike look much better than the first iteration I have. I especially like the Karosi red graphite color scheme. I should mention that the paint job and overall fit and finish are done nicely on this motorcycle. So when riding this motorcycle you will notice that all elements on the handlebar are well organized, pleasant to touch and have a quality feel. I also believe that the dashboard has a very comfortable size with all elements being visible and easy to read. It can switch between day and night modes automatically depending on the light conditions, and I don't feel a larger dashboard is necessary here as one featured on 900 platform. However, as I mentioned in my previous videos, I don't think this is the best user interface you can find on a motorcycle. In fact, I would not personally use any layout other than the first one, as I find it to be the most informative and clear. When it comes to comfort, I believe that the wind protection is excellent. I've noticed that Triumph motorcycles are consistently great in terms of ergonomics and sitting position, and the Tiger 850 is no exception. These days it is rare to find the stock windshield to be usable. Most manufacturers install shorter screens expecting that you will replace them anyway. Triumph does not do that, which is great. I do not experience any wind buffering when riding at any speed, so good job Triumph. The sitting position is upright and very comfortable, but it may not be suitable for people taller than 180 as they might feel slightly cramped. As someone who is almost 190, I started to feel uncomfortable after a few hours of riding on long trips. The suspension is very plush and probably the most comfortable in its class, although it's not really adjustable. It is only possible to preload the rear shock, so when riding solo the suspension feels great, but with the luggage in the passenger, the front may dive slightly during the braking, and you cannot influence it anyhow. Nevertheless, it provides a very pleasant riding experience, just like I said. Let's talk about the brakes. This bike is equipped with top-of-the-line Brembo Lima brakes. I initially thought that it might not make sense to have such high-spec brakes on the motorcycle. However, when it comes to the safety, I never had any issues with those brakes. When paired with the right set of tires, you can expect an excellent performance in any weather conditions. Another advantage of this bike is availability of parts and accessories. So, for instance, this bike has handguards, center stand, and full luggage system installed, and they all worked well and were convenient to use on longer trips. The engine is a gem. It can take you anywhere. It has low-end grunt and enough power to sustain on highways. It also sounds nice. When riding this motorcycle you experience a combination of two great words, adventure and touring. The bike has a playful, fun and charismatic character that makes you want to ride it again and again. Its plush suspension provides a comfortable experience over rough terrains, so you don't worry much when choosing an unknown path. Now it is probably the best time to mention things which did not go well with me. One issue I need to address is the heat. I ride this bike in Montenegro, and from May to the end of September we experience heat waves that can reach up to 40 degrees at the peak. The bike generates a significant amount of heat and directs it towards your knees. This might be a nice feature in cooler climates, but I am concerned that overheating knees may not be good for your long-term health. This is something important to take into consideration. I often find tank bags to be useful accessory for motorcycles, but in this particular case I had a problem. So the proximity of the fuel tank cap and handlebar makes the ignition key get stuck between these two elements. This means that every time I needed to pull the key, I had to take the bag off. As a result, I decided not to use it at all. This bike has noticeable vibrations, especially during the long highway rides, which can bother you. The engine runs smoothly only within narrow RPM range, but the bike is so enjoyable to ride that you often want to rev it. So there is a problem. If you're riding actively and maintain speeds of 60 miles per hour or higher on a highway, for instance, you'll likely feel the vibrations. It's worth noticing that the bike feels stable and easy to handle on highways and has an enjoyable playful feel on twisty roads. And small things I wish Triumph could improve: there is no native USB port integration, which is crucial for longer trips. When you need to plug in some of the devices, Triumph does not offer you a simple solution. Most manufacturers are already integrating that into their bikes, offering built-in waterproof chargers. The best you can do on Tiger Red 50 is to install aftermarket chargers or use 12-volt socket, which has a specific size, and I would not call it practical. Now let's talk about ownership experience, and this includes issues such as servicing the bike and obtaining the necessary parts. Unfortunately, none of these aspects are perfect with the Triumph from my own experience. I am not targeting any particular dealership, rather I believe that the whole distribution chain is a little bit disorganized. I had an issue with the front wheel of the motorcycle. It was bouncy from the very beginning, and despite the dealer's suggestion to wait for a braking period to be ended, the problem persisted even after 1000 kilometers. The dealership and Triumph identified a defective wheel and replaced it under the warranty, but that did not solve the issue. We then suspected that the stock Anarchy tire was faulty, so I bought a new one, but that also did not fix the problem. My dealer switched it to Pirelli tires, which reduced the bouncing but did not eliminate the problem completely. Ultimately, I had to accept the slight bouncing as there were no other viable options left. The dealer quickly resolved another minor issue of leaking engine oil cap, and aside of that, there were no significant problems with the motorcycle. In my opinion, Triumph doesn't have much historical data on maybe extended knowledge base, as their bikes are not sold in significant quantities. Also, considering that the most Triumph dealerships are multi-branded, mechanics might not be accurate in their judgments, making it harder to service bikes fast and efficiently. In countries like the UK or Germany, that might not be an issue, but in my case, getting parts takes months, and dealers don't tend to keep much in stock as sales volumes are not that high. I believe that the Tiger 50 offers great value, providing only the essential features for those seeking a straightforward riding experience and want access to 900 platform. Minimum electronics reduce the risk of malfunctions, which likely enhances their reliability. Considering the low volumes this bike is being produced, there isn't much to criticize. I didn't have any major issues, but we should see its performance over the time. I hope, guys, that was helpful. Let me know in case you have any questions, and I will see you in the next video. Cheers!